Welcome to an arterial line tutorial. We will cover the equipment, setup, blood sampling process and troubleshooting required when managing arterial lines. The equipment needed includes a pressure bag, transducer set, a 500 ml bag of sodium chloride, a cannula dressing, a skin prep or alcohol wipe, an IV label, some colour-coded bungs, some arterial and labels, some gauze, large clear dressings, and some saline flushes. Additional equipment includes the transducer holder, the transducer cable, and an appropriate monitor. In the setup process, unpack the transducer set, remove all the bungs with an open end from the ports and replace with closed-ended bungs. Ensure all connections are tight so as to avoid any air entering the system. Check the date and contents of your saline flush bag. Remove the flush bag cap and spike with the arterial transducer set. Then, holding the bag upside down, apply gentle pressure whilst pulling the blue rubber flush band on the transducer itself. This should allow the air chamber to gradually fill with saline, and continuing this manoeuvre until the whole chamber and giving set are filled with saline will allow a full prime of the set. When water is visible at the end, you know the full set has been primed. Insert the saline into a pressure bag and then inflate the bag until the pressure indicator is green. At this point, rotate the off arm on the three-way tap upwards towards the bag, and this will avoid it deflating. Over time, the bag may still gradually deflate and need more air to maintain the pressure gauge in the green zone. Insert the transducer module into the holder itself. Open up a 20 ml syringe and, ensuring that the off arm of the bung is pointed towards the patient end of the circuit, pull the blue rubber band and the syringe should fill with saline. This eliminates any residual air in the bung port. Once this is done, replace the bung and turn the off arm back towards the bung. Disconnect the final portion of the arterial line set, and we're going to ensure it's prepared for use. Cover the remaining end of the line with a bung to maintain sterility. Ensure all syringes in use are labelled. Flush the final bung port of the line portion you removed. This can be done by turning the off arm to face away from the syringe as shown, and finally that is to eliminate air from this bung port. Then turn the off arm towards the port and flush the last bit. Label the line, the transducer hub and the port arm with colour-coded labels to prevent inadvertent administration of substances into the arterial line. Under no circumstances should drugs ever be given via an arterial line. Attach the remove line portion to the arterial cannula. and if a switch is present on the cannula, turn that switch into the on position, holding the syringe vertically so that any air rises to the top of the syringe, and with the off arm facing the port, gradually draw back on the syringe. This is to ensure that there is good flow into the cannula and to ensure any remaining air is expelled. Finally, reattach all portions of the line set. And ensure all ports and arms are facing towards their bungs. Connect the transducer cables at the end of the transducer hub and the monitor, being careful to avoid bending the prongs on the machine by aligning the arrow on the cable to that on the machine. Zeroing your arterial line transducer, turn the off arm on the port to face the patient. Then remove the bung so that the port is open to air. On the monitor, tap on the red graph and select 0 ART. When the red number reads 0, the monitor will beep and a small message will appear at the bottom. Reattach the bung and turn the arm back to face the port. The system is now zeroed and an arterial waveform trace with blood pressure values should be visible on the monitor. Be sure to place the transducer holder at the level of the patient's heart for accurate values. The next portion of this video will go through the process of sampling from the arterial line. You will need some gauze, a 10ml syringe, a blood gas syringe and a sterile wipe. Remove the bung at the port near the patient and rotate the off arm to face the patient end of the line. Clean your port with the sterile wipe. Attach your 10ml syringe to the port and rotate the off arm to allow the blood to enter the syringe when you draw back. This sample is not suitable for analysis as it will be contaminated with the saline flush. Rotate the off arm to be between any two of the ports and then attach your blood gas syringe and withdraw your sample in the same way as you did with the 10ml syringe. Rotating the arm to be off to the patient and pull the rubber flush band to expel blood and air from the sampling port. Then rotate to neutral and replace the bung. Pull the rubber flush band and flush the line through with saline until there is no blood visible in the line itself. Troubleshooting. Air in the arterial line set can cause harm to the patient if entering the artery and will also lead to an inaccurate trace on the monitor, sometimes referred to as a damped trace. Remove the bung at the closest part to the patient and attach a 10ml syringe as you would for sampling. Turn the off arm away from the patient and withdraw from the line until the air enters the syringe. Rotate the off arm back towards the sampling port and flush with the blue rubber band. Discard the syringe and any air that you have aspirated. Finally, replace the bung. Difficulty aspirating. Check the red switch on the cannula is in the on position. Inspect around the cannula for redness or any disconnections or to see if the cannula is no longer in the artery or kinked. Gentle extension of the wrist may unlock any internal kinks in the cannula and allow you to aspirate a sample. A damped arterial trace. As mentioned before, air in the line may lead to the trace appearing more flat. Once again, you should inspect the cannula for any evidence of infection or disconnection. The issue may be air in the line, which can be fixed as described previously. Check the pressure gauge on your pressure bag. This may need more air being pumped in if the gauge is not lying within the green zone. Removing the arterial line. Release any dressing securing the cannula. Once you have done this, ensure the switch on the cannula is turned to off. Once the dressings are free, place some gauze over the entry site of the cannula and apply gentle pressure over the site as you remove the cannula. Discard the cannula into a sharp spin and continue the gentle pressure for a few minutes until there is no more bleeding at the cannula site. Thank you for taking time to watch this arterial line training video, and remember, if you have any concerns or are unsure how to manage problems with an arterial line, always seek senior help.